And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Torres versus De Jesus. Step forward, please.
23-year-old Ileana Torres is suing her ex-fiancé, 25-year-old Benny De Jesus, for a loan to pay his child support. Ileana says Benny was in danger of going to jail for the second time.
How old are you, Miss Torres?
23.
And you, sir?
25.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a professional esthetician.
What about you, Mr. De Jesus? What do you do?
Electrician.
How many children do you have, Miss Torres?
Just one.
How old?
He's 5.
Does he live with you?
Yes, he does.
Who supports him?
I do.
How many children do you have, Mr. De Jesus?
One, Your Honor.
Where does that child live?
He lives with his mother right now.
And who supports your child?
Well, I pay child support every month right now, and she has physical custody of him.
Do you pay child support for Miss Torres's child?
No, ma'am.
Because it's not your child.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be stupid for you to pay child support for Miss Torres's child because the child doesn't belong to you.
Yes.
Child has a mother and a father.
Yeah.
And the mother and father should pay child support.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what your lawsuit is about, Miss Torres. You and Mr. De Jesus had the unfortunate experience of being engaged to each other for a period of time. And while you were so involved, Mr. De Jesus fell behind in his child support, among other things. But this is what your lawsuit is about. And is your claim that you made a loan to him so that he wouldn't go to jail to pay his child support.
Yes.
Now, Mr. De Jesus says she paid the child support. You acknowledge.
Yes, I did. Yes, she paid it for me.
But it was a gift. Now, do you understand my preliminary questions?
Oh, yes. Clear as a bell.
So I asked you a couple of seconds ago, Mr. De Jesus, you wouldn't pay child support for her child, right?
Yeah.
Because the child's not yours.
Nope.
Child has a mother and a father.
Yep.
Parents are supposed to pay for their own children.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And if you don't pay child support for your child, you're a bum.
Yeah, basically.
Perfect. How much did you give him to pay the child support?
$2,400.
And how much time was he facing in jail if he didn't pay the child support?
2 years.
Ah,
It would have been his second time going to jail for not paying his child support.
that's a bum times 2. Now, Miss Torres, I mean, he's easy to take care of. You know, I could take care of 10 of him with this pinky. 10 of him. My question to you is, you don't look like a marginal person, articulate. You look somebody in the eye when you speak to them. You have a child that you support, lives with you. What are you doing with him? I mean, are things so desperate out there that you got to pick a bum who's got one child and has fallen behind twice in child support to the extent that the second time they were going to put him in jail for 2 years? You're going to get your $2,400 because that's what he owes you. Because he doesn't want to pay for your child, and you shouldn't have to pay for his. Right, Mr. De Jesus?
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't $2,400. She only gave me $1,000. The rest of it I raised myself.
Show me the $2,400, Miss Torres.
She knows that it was $1,000 she gave me,
This is the check.
and the rest of it was
This
raised
is the check
up
that
and
I
all
had
put
signed.
together.
This is where it came out of my son's bank account.
Because the money
And
was
it got-
deposited
no,
in there
it
so that
was
we could
not.
write a check out for it because I
And
can't
I
get
got
cash.
my money in there.
She knows that the reason the money was deposited was so that I could write a check out because I had to have record of the money that I'm paying.
No,
for
and
my
I
child
have a
support.
piece of paper.
Well, no time around the withdrawal of this $2,400, sir, did anybody put in $1,500.
It was sporadically put in. It was $200 here. As I kept raising the money, I would put the money into the account because the court date was coming. When the court
You
date
should
came,
have kept better
we
records.
deposited.
What kind of an excuse did you give to the mother of your child every time you didn't send money?
I mean,
Checks in the mail.
We both spoke. We speak every time we see each other. She knows if I'm late and when she's going to get her money.
Let me ask you this question, Mr. De Jesus. Yesterday, did you eat dinner?
Yeah.
And you have a cell phone?
No.
Have a regular phone?
No, actually, no, thanks to Miss Torres here, I don't have nowhere to live actually right now.
I was paying for everything for you.
She
Miss
took
Torres,
my car.
Miss Torres,
threw my clothes away.
Does he have a problem that's eating up the money that he's earning from being an electrician?
From what I'm concerned, I don't know.
You
But
don't
when
know.
I met him, he did have problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
All I'm doing is telling you, I know. And you have a responsibility because you have a 5-year-old child. You're only supposed to bring the right kind of people into their lives. You got it?
Yes.
Judge for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,400. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. This is case number 51 on the calendar, the matter of Davis versus Leathers. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Mr. Davis, the defendant is your former wife, and it is your claim that she filed a false accusation against you, and she was seeking to get a restraining order against you. You were forced to hire an attorney. The case was subsequently dismissed. You want her to pay your attorney's fees and damages.
Yes, ma'am.
Your former wife says the accusations that she made in the application for the protective order were true, and she says that you were threatening and abusive, and she's going to prove that to me. You have one child together who is now 5.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been divorced since when?
Divorce was final January 2006,
And when did you separate?
June of 2004.
Reading between the lines of your complaint and the defendant's answer, there has been some acrimonious stuff going on between the two of you, at least in part owing to the fact that you are in substantial arrears in your child support.
That's her attention, yes. Yes.
I'm reading between the lines,
Okay.
sir, because I'm an experienced family court practitioner, that if you're divorced, that means you don't like each other anymore. Are you remarried?
No, ma'am.
Are you remarried?
Yes, I am.
So, she's not mad because you have a life and she doesn't. She's happy. She's married. Are you happily married?
Actually, my husband and I are separated.
Not happily married.
But we are best friends, and I see him about 3 times a week.
All right. But she's not mad at you because she doesn't have a life, and you do. She's mad at you, sir, because you don't pay regular child support.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
I agreed to pay child support from the day I left of $600 a month. I've been paying that up until I got laid off in June 11th of 2006. I phoned Miss Leathers. I told her I was laid off, that I could not afford the
Your Honor?
that I could not afford the $600 a month. We could handle it one of 2 ways. Once I received what my unemployment benefits would be, I would give you a set amount every month until I find another job.
When did you find, listen to me, when did you find another job?
January
January of what?
of this year.
What kind of work do you do?
I do aircraft fueling technicians. I refuel aircrafts. I work on fuel cells of aircrafts.
How did you support yourself between June of 2006 and January of 2007? Who were you living with?
My girlfriend Patricia, and I was receiving unemployment benefits.
So you had no rent.
Correct.
How much were you sending the defendant between June and January?
Well, Your Honor,
That requires a
they were
figure.
taking the money directly out of my unemployment benefits. When I told her I could not afford the $600 a month, I told her that I would go back to family court and I would file a petition for modify my child support.
Why should you get a modification?
I'm no longer making the money I was making before. Nowhere near it.
Then get 2 jobs.
I have 2 jobs. Your Honor, I
You
have
mean,
my daughter
how-
12 to
just
14.
let-
I have my daughter almost 50% of the time. Your Honor.
That is untrue.
If you interrupt him again,
Sorry.
it's not going to go well.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You agreed to pay her $600 a month. Your divorce was final in January 2006. According to you, up until January of 2006, you were paying $600 a month because you separated in 2004.
Yes, ma'am.
All of a sudden, divorce is final, and 5 months later, you say, I can't pay you the $600 a month anymore. Now I need a modification.
I was laid off from work.
That's fine. You can be laid off from work. That doesn't mean you can't work. When you have children, you have to say, I don't care what I do. I drive a cab, I collect cans, I go to a car wash, I do whatever else I have to do to contribute to the support of my child. Who do you work for?
I'm a school teacher.
She teaches, she contributes to the support of the child. I have to work and contribute to the support of the child. And if I can't do it fueling planes, I'll do it doing something else until I can get a job refueling planes. Now, having said that, sir, all I said to you was that's the reason for the acrimony, because you haven't been paying child support regularly. That being the case, she's going to tell me about why she filed this protective order and when. When did you file this protective order, Ms. Leathers?
The middle of November 2006.
And on what basis did you file the protective order?
As he said, he and I separated in June of 2004. By the first week of July of 2004,
I'm not interested in anything that happened in 2004. Nothing.
Okay.
I'm interested in anything that happened the 3 months immediately preceding November of 2006.
Good.
When you
Okay.
filed for a protective order.
Okay.
Period.
August 10th, 2006, I went to pick up my daughter. My mother was with me and my stepfather. He dropped off my daughter and he said, "Your game is over, Jamie. I've had a private investigator follow you and I have your bank account information." And I looked at my mother and I said, "These are the kinds of things I'm talking about." My mom said, "You take your daughter, you keep walking." So my stepfather and I walked.
Well, I don't know what he meant by that. What did you
I didn't
mean?
know what he meant by that
What did
either.
you mean by that, sir?
Your Honor, the man she's been living with, the man she married, this is the whole root of the problem we've been having. This man she met on the internet and moved out here from Chicago. I had concerns about the welfare of my daughter. She's allowing this man to take my daughter to the public restroom. She's
Your
allowed
Honor?
this. She allowed.
Listen to me. Listen to me. That's not your business.
It's my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter.
It's not, listen to me. It's not your business, just as it's not her business that you're living with this lady. And the one thing we both care about is our child. And neither one of us would do anything to the child that would cause the child harm, unless, of course, you have proof that somebody is causing them damage. If she complained to me that she didn't like the fact that when your daughter was at your house, you let her crawl into bed with you and your girlfriend, I would say, that's none of your business. And I'm saying to you, your concerns about somebody that she met, whether she met him on the internet or she met him in a park or she met him at McDonald's, are none of your business.
I don't,
now,
Your Honor.
all I want to know is, what games were you talking about, sir?
I'm talking about the games where she has accused me to this man. Since she met this man, I have wanted to meet him. The 3 of them were at a restaurant. My 2-year-old daughter says she has to go to the bathroom. This man gets up and takes my daughter to the public restroom. I asked Ms. Leathers, why is he taking my daughter to the restroom? I'm saying, you're the mother. That is our daughter.
That's none of your business.
I believe it is, Your Honor.
And I'm
about the
telling
hell-
you-
This woman allows some man she met on the internet to move out here to Chicago and take my daughter to the restroom?
Your husband.
No, at the time it was not her husband. The only reason they got married, they married 4 days after this restraining order was dismissed because I raised these same issues in the courtroom that day, and they got married 4 days later.
And what happened, Mr. Davis, when you raised the same issues? What did the judge say to you? Did the judge say, "Oh my God, oh my God, we best call Child Protective Services immediately"? Is that what the judge said to you?
No, man, the judge did not respond.
Excuse me?
The judge did not respond to those issues.
That's right. The judge did not respond.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Him taking my daughter to the restroom, him taking my daughter to the locker room of the Y and giving her a shower.
That never happened.
Yes, it did. My daughter's swim class, yes, it did.
And later today,
You signed custody over to Miss Strickland because you and their mother were neglecting them.
No.
You just decided you had enough being a parent?
Of harassing her.
Listen, you don't have control anymore, sir. If you believe that someone is doing something that is not in your child's best interest and is harmful, abusive, or neglectful, your responsibility is to go to court or call Child Protective Services if you want to play that game. I would discourage you from doing that, but you don't start up with her. Just as she would have no sympathy for me if she said, I don't believe that my daughter has any right to stay at their house. She does stay at your house, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
And occasionally crawls into bed with you?
Yes, she does. Sometimes she does.
And you sleep with her?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And she's your girlfriend? Inappropriate?
I don't believe so.
Oh, what? Well, who set you up to be the moral monitor?
Well,
You're a
yes,
moral, just a second. You're a moral monitor? You have now a 5-year-old child who knows that you're not married to this lady, that you share a bed with her. I don't know what you wear when you go to sleep, and I don't know what she wears when she goes to sleep, but she crawls into bed with you. And if she said to me, I'm not letting my daughter go there anymore, if he's going to let my daughter crawl into bed with her, I would say to her, it's not your business. She loves her father. This is her father's significant other. I don't like significant others. I think you should be either married or not. But it's the 21st century. I'm coming into the 21st century. It's not your business. And I say the same thing to you. It's not your business.
I respectfully disagree.
Well, I don't give a rat's behind, sir. That's why I sit here. That's why I sit here, and I have been in this business for 40 years.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
40 years, and I'm telling you, you gotta let go of it. Now, I want you to tell me what you meant when you said the game is over.
I meant that for the last 2 years, she had been putting my daughter in situations where my daughter has no business being involved with.
Your Honor, I'm a school teacher. I'm a
Listen to me.
kindergarten teacher.
Listen to me.
The
Listen
fact
to
that
me.
she moved in with a
I
man and
wanna-
didn't know, that says a lot.
Listen to me. I'm getting the gist of it.
Okay.
I want to know what he said to you that inspired you to file for a protective order.
The private investigator I found alarming
Okay.
because I'm thinking somebody's following me
Fine.
around. And
Private investigator, he's allowed to hire a private
Right.
investigator if he wants to.
And then I get phone messages as well as phone calls, calling me names.
You say that in your answer that you saved those.
Yes.
I'd
I-
like to hear them. Give it to Bird, please.
That's it.
Okay, so you have one
I mean,
message.
I have to message after message after message, but that was the one that I thought pretty much wrapped up his anger is about the child support.
Well, so he called you a foul name.
Right.
Called
And
you a foul name.
I would like to say
Put
that
your hand down, madam.
I'm sorry. It's just there's been many
What?
messages.
Listen to me. Put your
Okay.
hand down.
Okay.
If that's the worst of it, it's not terrible.
Right.
Not nice, but not terrible. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's this vibe, I would say, as a woman, that we get our intuition. He makes me feel unsafe and uncomfortable.
Can I see the application that you filled out for the protective order?
Sure, and I can also give you, I have been keeping a log of the harassment.
When did you hire a private investigator, Mr. Davis?
Actually, Your Honor, I didn't hire a private investigator. The information that I was talking about was information
not
I
it.
received from her mother and her father. They
Did
didn't
you
wa-
just a second. Did you tell her that you had hired a private investigator?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So
In
you
order-
lied to her?
And yes, I did. In order to keep her mother and her father out of the distance, because they're the ones who told me this information.
What information, sir?
That basically the man that she was living with was someone she didn't know from Chicago, and moved him out here to live with her and
You're
my daughter.
talking about something that happened how many years ago, sir?
No, but yes.
How
it happened-
many years ago?
It happened 2 years ago, Your Honor. But everything that happened after them getting together, him taking my daughter to the restroom, him taking my daughter to the locker room of the Y and giving her a shower.
That never happened.
Yes, it did. My daughter's swim class, yes, it did. This is when I finally said, you know what?
You can't
I could not-
take a girl, and a man
Yes,
cannot
Leathers,
take a
Miss
girl
Leathers,
into the
Miss-
shower.
Miss Leathers, listen to me. Listen to me. Somebody who sleeps with his daughter in a bed with his girlfriend has no basis to complain about anything.
First of all, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time I get home, she's already getting up for work.
Mr. Davis, you're
just got the
backtracking,
job.
sir.
How is that?
There is no question in my mind when you told me that you have your daughter 50% of the time.
And that's not
almost.
true.
46%.
46.
That's not true. It's
Miss Leathers,
25%,
Miss
Your
Leathers.
Honor.
And the court order is
If
right
you-
here.
Miss
The
Leathers,
court order is right here.
If you interrupt him again,
I'm sorry.
I'm throwing you out.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I understand.
I'm throwing you out. There's no question in my mind, Mr. Davis, that if your daughter spent either 25 or 46% of the time in your home, that she was crawling into bed with the two of you. Now, you don't consider that wrong. That's your prerogative. You keep your nose out of her business. Very, very lucky that you got rid of him.
I know.
You're very lucky.
Wow.
You're very lucky that you got rid of him because he's this kind of thick. You got him He's yours.
He's a very
He's
nice
yours.
man, Your
He's
Honor.
a very nice man. He's a very nice man. He is a controlling. You're interrupting. He's controlling, and he doesn't see the inequality of his positions. He has to let go. He has to say, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander, and I have to rely on the fact that my wife, ex-wife, who was a school teacher, who teaches children, who is an educated woman, wouldn't do anything to place my daughter at risk. And he's not. So have you.
How?
I just told you how.
This is a woman I've known for years. This is a man she met on the internet who did not know.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Did not know.
We've been
You're an
together
idiot.
2.5
You know
years.
something?
She did not know this man.
You know something? I got it. The truth is, his conduct is such that I understand why you felt threatened.
Right.
I feel that today he is unyielding and controlling, and I understand why you sought a protective order. Your case is dismissed, sir. That's all.
Oh, he's excused me. Step
Your Honor,
out.
this woman lied in her declaration. I have proof of that. She actually lied. Wow.
Done. Thank God.
She said to me over and over again that, you know, I'm a woman, I'm the custodial parent. The courts are going to believe me because I'm a woman.
He's jealous that I got remarried and that my daughter loves her stepfather.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Abrigo versus Strickland. Step forward.
Marco Abrigo is suing his children's grandmother, Christina Strickland, for the return of 2 child support payments. Christina is countersuing for the unpaid medical expenses of Marco's children.
Mr. Abrigo, it is your claim that you paid child support to the defendant who was caring for your 2 children for 5 years. And the last 2 payments that you made to her, which were deducted from your salary, I assume, were made when the children had been returned to their mother. And you want those 2 payments back. Ms. Strickland says she took care of your 2 children for 5 years. You owe her a fortune of money, and she's counterclaiming. So I have a few questions for you, sir, before I make very, very short work out of you. When did your children go to live with Miss Strickland?
2001, I believe.
What do you mean you believe? I would know the exact moment that my children were removed from my custody.
I don't know the exact date that we signed over the children, but it was towards the end. I'm going to say September of 2001.
And you signed custody over to Miss Strickland because you and their mother were neglecting them. And but for Miss Strickland, the state would have taken them. Fair statement?
No.
You just decided you had enough being a parent?
No.
What was it?
Well, the way it went down is the mother of the children and Miss Strickland were talking, and because I was going to be going away.
Going away to where?
I
Summer
was
camp?
possibly going to be incarcerated, and she would not be able to take care of the children.
Why not?
I do not know.
Were you living together at the time?
No, we were not. We were not
So
together.
what difference did it make whether you were in jail or on Mars? She was still alone taking care of the children. When were you in jail, sir? From when to when?
Basically from January of 2002 to November 2002.
And in that year, the children were with Miss Strickland.
Yes, they were.
And how much support were you sending while you were in jail?
None.
None? Who was supporting your children?
Miss Strickland.
And when did you make that year up to her?
Well, when I did get out of 2002, I didn't make it up to her financially, but through 2003 to the beginning of 2004, February, I had the kids in the excess of about 200 days.
I'm talking about when you were in prison, sir. You paid nothing for the support of your 2 children.
I paid nothing.
Nothing. You got 2 jobs so you could start paying her back all the money she spent on taking care of the children. Didn't you?
No, I did not.
Well, then you've got some nerve being here. For 2 payments? Because they went to her instead of going to the mother of the children?
I'm only going by what the court is telling me to go by.
This court is telling you to go home. After I would have made you bend down and kiss her feet for taking care of your children for 5 years. So I have no idea what you're doing here. What you're doing here is nonsense. Listen, Miss Strickland.
Yes, ma'am.
But for the fact that he sued you for this nonsense, you would not be here. Is that correct?
Probably.
Probably, because you didn't expect anything from him,
Never.
and pretty much that's exactly what you got.
Exactly. May I say something, please?
Absolutely.
My grandchildren have been living with their mom since August of 2006. He has not sent one penny to support those kids up until this point.
Is what she's saying correct?
Yes, it is.
Would you get him out of here? I cannot stand to look at him. Your case is
Parties are
dismissed.
excused. You
That's
may
all.
step out. Thank you. Yeah, it's case number 146 on the calendar in the matter of Lager versus Boots. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. We'll have a seat.
Thank you, Bert. Miss Lager, these two young men used to be friends of yours, and it is your claim that some time ago they vandalized your car while they were probably drunk, acting like fools. What's your last name?
Boots.
And yours?
Boots.
Are you brothers?
Yes, we are.
The Boots brothers?
Yeah. Yeah.
You ought to make a movie out of it. Boots brothers. They say it wasn't them. When did this happen, Miss Lager?
On my 21st birthday, June 3rd, 2006.
And where was your car at the time?
It was at my boyfriend's mother's house, Janelle Foley's.
That would be you.
Yes.
Could you stand up? Because you weren't there.
Correct, I was not there.
When had you parked your car in front of your boyfriend's mother's house?
Well, I was letting her borrow it for quite some time because her vehicle was getting fixed at the time.
What kind of car did you have?
It's a 2001 Nabira Daewoo.
Could you keep your voice up? I'm old.
It was a 2001 Nabira Daewoo.
What is that?
It's a four-door silver
Nabira?
vehicle. Nabira.
Where is that made?
I believe Korea, but I'm not sure.
I never heard of it. I'm so pleased that you didn't. I'm sure it's a lovely car.
It was a lovely car.
Miss Foley, do you remember June 3rd, 2006?
Yes.
I knew you were home on June 3rd,
Yes.
2006. Which one of the Boots boys is going to speak?
I will.
And what is your first name?
Brent.
And yours?
My name's Nick.
No, I think I want Nick to speak. Now, Nick, how far do you live from Miss Foley?
Only like 2 blocks.
You have any reason to be near Miss Foley's house?
I'm best friends with their kid.
Keep your voice up, Nick.
I'm best friends with their son,
What's her son's name?
Bart.
Is that person here today?
Nah, he's not.
Your younger brother?
Yeah, it was my younger brother.
How long have you been friends?
Since I was like 2.
Tell me about June 2006.
Well,
No. Don't look there. Don't look there.
Well, we were at her house. Sorry. We were at her house, like having a party or whatever, chilling. Just a get together. I
How
could
many
say.
people were there?
Just like 4 of us.
Which 4? The 2 Boots boys?
Her. And then my girlfriend was there, and then her son was there.
There were 5 of you there. That would be 5. Let's count
Or
them.
other than me.
Nick, you want to count them? That would be 5 altogether, right? And when had you started chilling?
I'm not sure what time it was.
Around 9 or so, I'd say. 8 or 9.
And then what happened, Nick?
We just we were just drinking and whatnot, and then we left.
Drinking. What were you drinking?
Vodka,
Where did you get the vodka from?
I believe.
No! Don't speak unless I speak to you. I want Nick. Don't speak. Where did you get the vodka from?
I believe it was from her, because it was
From
her
who?
21st birthday. Jessica.
Was she home?
No.
Well, where did you get the vodka from?
We met up with them earlier on that day.
And she gave you a bottle of vodka?
Well, she purchased it for us. We gave her the money.
So you gave Miss Lager the cash, and she went into a liquor store and purchased how much vodka?
A liter.
A liter. That's a big bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And what were you mixing the liter with?
We were just taking shots and drinking pop.
Shots and pop.
Shots and pop, yes.
And then what happened?
Nothing. We all had fun, and then once the night was over, we all went home.
And didn't see Miss Lager's car?
No.
Miss Lager, did you purchase vodka for them?
No, I did not. No, I do not purchase vodka for underage minors.
Why do you think they would make up that kind of story?
To make it look good for themselves.
Nah, They could have just said, you know, they found it. So I believe that you purchased it for them.
It was my 21st birthday. Why would I purchase alcohol for them?
I have no idea, because they were with your boyfriend's little brother.
I wasn't even near them all day. I was with my mother all day.
Okay. Miss Foley, tell me what you saw on June 3rd with regard to the Boots boys and Miss Lager's car.
I was at home. My son Bartley came up late that night and said, Mother, Brent and Nick are out kicking in Jesse's car. You need to come out and make him stop. So I went down, I looked out the landing. Brent was on the hood of the car, the roof of the car.
Brent, why couldn't you let Nick go on the hood of the car?
So I went down 2 more flights of stairs. By the time I got out there, Brent was off of the car, standing by the passenger mirror. Nick was standing in front of the car trying to kick the headlight. And he had stated to me that he had kicked the headlight and it didn't break. And Brent said he kicked the mirror off, but it didn't come off all the way. And I asked him why they were doing that, and they were mad at Jessica, I guess, at the time, so...
Why were you mad at Jessica?
We were mad at Jessica, but...
Well, tell me why you were mad at her. I just want to know why you were mad at her.
Stole a digital camera from my ex-girlfriend out of our house.
Oh, then I don't believe that she bought you alcohol. There you go. See what happened? If you were mad at her, why would you give her money to buy you alcohol on the same day?
She was always around anyways.
Oh.
'Cause I used to be best friends with him over there, her boyfriend.
We all hung out every day.
Now, she's the mother of your really good friend, right?
Yes,
So you know her for a long time.
most of my
You go
life.
to her house? Put your hand down. You go to her house?
Every day, practically.
She sometimes gives you a sandwich? You know?
I eat over there occasionally, I could say.
So you think there's any reason why she would lie about you?
No, I wouldn't see a reason why she would.
Why would she lie about her son's best friend, who she sees every day of his life, who she's very good to? Why would she lie about him?
I don't know.
Do you understand my problem here, Nick?
Yes, I do.
You know where I'm coming from?
Sort of, yeah.
Are you twins?
No.
Who's older?
I'm older.
What about your older brother here? Did he ever go over to Miss Foley's house?
Yep.
Eat at her house?
We didn't really know much people in the area, so we were there all the time.
And Miss Foley was always nice to you?
Most of the time, yes.
Can you think of any reason why she would tell such a horrendous lie about you vandalizing a car that she was driving? Huh?
Maybe because Jessica's gonna give her some money for it or something.
No. Then you would have to say that she's a liar and a thief.
She is.
Miss Foley?
Oh, not Miss Foley, but Jessica.
I'm talking about Miss Foley.
No, she's not.
Miss Foley is the one who identified you, not Miss Lager. You want to look at Miss Foley and tell her she's a liar?
On this
Nick!
Yes.
You want to look at Miss Foley and tell her she's a liar? You followed your brother.
Yeah.
No, say this. Miss Foley, you're a liar.
I wish she wouldn't lie, that's what.
Uh-huh. Evidently, you were a better friend than your older brother, because you couldn't say it. Now, when you do something wrong, you're supposed to fess up. Now, it's possible that you two morons don't remember, because you were drinking a liter of vodka, what you did on the night of June 3rd. That's possible. How old are you?
I'm 19.
And you?
21.
Can I see an estimate on fixing your car and photographs, please? Are you still friendly with her younger son?
Not really.
Was he also involved? Well, you don't know. Was your youngest son involved in this?
He didn't, no.
Was he? Just a second.
No, he did not do anything to the car.
Did you want to say something?
I was gonna say I thought you were talking about him, but I am friends with her youngest son, yes.
No, I asked if her youngest son did anything to this car.
No, he wasn't there. He was upstairs the whole time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you hear what he said? He said no, he wasn't there. He was upstairs all the time. You just let him go and go and go, and after a while, they just, you know.
They'll sign off.
They just sign off on it, right?
It was in an accident.
Yeah, her
two
car was in an
previous
accident before that, and it was all dented, and she was trying to say that we did all that when it couldn't
How much
possibly.
did you do?
I didn't do nothing.
Well, yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Now, if you said to me, listen, we got a little drunk and we acted stupid around the car, but a lot of this damage was done before.
This stuff
I'll talk-
happens all the time in our area.
What, that you jump on the
People-
hood of a car?
No. Vandalism.
I asked you a question. Your brother couldn't say it. If Miss Foley identified you two boys who were lifelong friends of one of her children, there would have to be a reason. Because when people identify someone who's caused damage to their property, they want the right people punished. They don't want the wrong people punished. They want the right people to pay for the damage. Now, if she had some axe to grind with you, I could understand it. But you've given me no motive for her to lie about it.
She wasn't even there. This is completely false and erroneous. And
Yeah. No, you're erroneous.
no.
You're erroneous and irrelevant. Erroneous and
And her
irrelevant.
car's not even worth that much to begin with.
You're absolutely right. How much did you pay for the car?
Around $7,000.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give you $11,000 to fix it.
No, I don't.
No. You could go buy yourself a new car.
Car can't even drive down the road straight. You let go of the wheel and you'll be in
Listen,
the
you
ditch.
couldn't walk straight. That's not up to you, young man. That's not up to you. When you damage somebody's property, you take it as you take it. That's it. And when you act like a fool, that's why they don't let people drink until they're 21 years old, because even 21-year-olds are morons. 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds are double morons. They shouldn't even be allowed out of the house after 9 o'clock at night. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,500. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's scandalous and she's money hungry.
I was asking like $1,500 to begin with, and they said I was shady for asking $1,500.
They got money that they shouldn't have got.
Jessica's a thief. She took his digital camera from his girlfriend and she walked out of the grocery store with 2 rotisserie chickens.
I'm just surprised that the boys said that they didn't do it.
It's ruining a long friendship. Not gonna talk to her.
Just make sure you trust people, because I trusted them and they ruined my car.
20-year-old Laura Mason is suing co-worker Justin Massey for stealing money from her home.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 364 on the calendar in the matter of Mason versus Massey, Judge. The parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Mason, it is your claim that the defendant, while a guest in your home, stole some money from you.
Yes.
And the defendant said, never took anything. I don't know what she's talking about. Was he a friend of yours?
I'm a coworker, and at that time he was a friend, yes.
You were having a party?
It was more like a get-together. I wouldn't say it was a huge party.
How many people were at the house?
8, I believe.
8, including you and your husband?
My husband wasn't there at that time. Including me, it was about 8.
But your husband was also present in the house that night?
Yes, he came in around 2 a.m.
And he was a co-worker of yours?
Yes.
Where do you work, sir?
We work at a place called Nielsen Media Research.
How long have you worked together?
About 2 months now. We started at the exact same time. We were in the same training class, and that's how we got to be acquainted with one another.
Where did you work before that, Mr. Massey?
Actually, right before this, I worked at a place called Publishers Printing for 2 or 3 months. But the drive, I don't drive, and my mom was having to take me, and it was just too much trouble. This place is like 1 mile from the house. It's real close. I walk sometimes.
Great. Okay, Miss Mason, tell me about the theft from your house.
That night when I had went to bed, the money was on my bookcase. I woke up in the morning, I'm going to say about 8:30. He had come in my room. He had stayed in our guest room because he had just fallen asleep there. And he came in and we were talking.
And where was your husband?
He was downstairs doing laundry.
Go ahead.
And I had just, gotten up out of my bed and I went downstairs to get a sweatshirt. But when I had went down the stairs, my money was there. I saw my bookcase, which is right next to my bedroom door. I saw it. And when I came back up, he had met me on the top of my stairs. So I didn't go back into my room before we left. And when I came back home, my money was gone.
Came back home when?
From dropping him off at taking him home.
And what time was that?
Between 10 and 10:30 a.m.
How many people live in your home?
Me, my husband, and my son.
How old is your son?
He's 4.
Okay. I read your complaint very carefully, Miss Mason. Your complaint says By 4 a.m., everyone was gone, so I went up to my room. I made sure that the $500 I had been saving for a cell phone and Christmas shopping was still nudged between the book and a box of magic erasers. The money was folded in half, and the corner was visible to the eye.
Yes.
This says you did this at 4 o'clock in the morning, not at 8 o'clock in the morning when you said he came into your room.
I did. I checked my money at 4. That's when I went to bed. And I got up at 8, and it was still there.
Well, you don't say that you checked it here at 8. You said that you checked it at 4. I didn't understand, Madam, why anyone would have a party at their house and leave money at a place where you would see the money if you were hiding it. If you're hiding money, you hide money so that you don't see it. You put it in a certain place so it would be safe, right?
Yes.
So I didn't understand why you would put it someplace where it would be safe and let a corner of the money stick out.
It wasn't so much that I was hiding it from anybody. Nobody should have been in my room.
All right, let's move on. So what you're saying is the reason you believe that the defendant stole your money is because he had access to it, and as far as you knew, he was the only one who was there in between the times that you saw it, present and missing.
Yes.
You have any other proof that he stole your money?
My mother had spoken with him on the phone.
Good morning. Your daughter says that you spoke to the defendant about this.
I did, Your Honor.
May I interject for a moment, Judge?
No.
Okay. But I would say...
No.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I spoke to the defendant about 3 or 4 days after that. I said to him, I know you stole the money out of the home. He said I didn't. He denied it. I kept telling him, you did take that money out of that home. He said that he did not take it, but he did.
Okay. Did he say anything else?
No. He just told me he did.
Okay, man, when this woman called me, first of all, she never identified herself as Laura's mom.
I don't care. Why are you responding so? The woman didn't inculpate you at all in this crime. Why are you so insistent upon responding?
Okay, it's just that she called up and told me that she was a police officer and said that she was, this and that.
She has difficulty.
Clearly.
You have been arrested, Mr. Massey?
Yes.
For what?
DUIs.
How many?
3. That's why I don't drive. I walk to work.
Is that why you don't drive?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than DUIs, have you ever been arrested for anything else?
I have.
Is not an answer.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The drug, like marijuana.
When? 2004.
Anything
else?
No, that's it.
So, you drink too much and you smoke a little marijuana?
Well, I did.
You did? You don't anymore?
No.
Have you been arrested for theft?
Nope, never.
What kind of money do you earn?
$8.50 an hour.
Who do you live with?
I live with my mom, because when I got my DUIs, I had to go to jail for a little while, so I had to move back with my mom. I had owned a house and everything else, but, that just, you do get locked up, you lose that stuff.
Okay. Miss Mason, it's possible that Mr. Massey took your money. It's possible, but you have to prove it.
But he did admit it to my mom.
No, that's not what she said at all. She said he kept denying it. Your mother never.
He admitted it.
I was on a three-way phone call with...
Now she all of a sudden remembers.
No,
Listen to me. She testified.
Yes.
I heard her. You have to have proof that he's a thief. Now, it's possible that he took your money. It's also possible that somebody else who was there took your money.
No.
Well, according to you, you had at least 8 people coming in and out of your house. That's what happens. Sometimes money gets taken. And it is possible that Mr. Massey is one of the people who was there, took your money. But there's insufficient proof for me to feel comfortable to label him a thief. Thank you. That's all. The case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step back.
Perez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Joseph Delgado Jr., for throwing a cell phone at her car and for breaking her finger during an argument.
All rise. This is case number 379 on the calendar, the matter of Perez versus Delgado. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Ms. Perez, how long were you and Mr. Delgado together?
A little over 5 years.
You have no children together?
No children.
Records indicate that this is not the first lawsuit that you filed against Mr.
It is not.
Delgado. When did you separate from him?
We separated in November of '03. I filed a lawsuit against him when I could find him. He was on the run.
Is that around the time that you allege he both damaged your car, which is the subject of this lawsuit, and assaulted you, broke your finger?
It is.
After that happened, he left. You did not live together anymore.
That's correct.
Now, this is one lawsuit. How many lawsuits have you filed, not about this charge, against Mr. Delgado in total? Because our records indicate you have had other cases against
4.
him. For what?
One's not resolved.
Well, what is it about?
A motorhome. I owned 3 houses, 4 cars, and a motorhome. And he took off with the motorhome. I gave him a car. And the other one has to do with tax issues. He hadn't filed taxes in 5 years. And the other one is the broken finger and the laptop.
Just a second. If he hadn't filed taxes in how many years, what does that have to do with you?
He contacted me to try and help him get it done, for my accountant to do it for him.
When had he contacted you?
May of 04.
Did you lend him money, allegedly?
I did.
Has that case been resolved?
That case has been resolved.
In whose favor?
I dropped the lawsuit because he was crying and pleading to drop the lawsuit that he would make a
Ms.
payment.
Perez, in May of 2004, did you lend him money or allow him to use your account?
I did not loan him money, but he was using my accountant that I'm in good standing with to do his taxes and didn't have a checkbook to pay him with. So I was taking on the debt because it was my accountant.
Were you speaking to her in May of 2004?
Yes, ma'am. We met with the accountant together on May 15th and signed my taxes. She had all my tax records.
You met together?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you met together, did you have lunch before you went to the accountant?
We met at a restaurant with the accountant.
So
On the way.
I'm speaking. So you had lunch together?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you contact Ms. Perez prior to May of 2004?
I had talked to her several times prior to that.
Where were you when you contacted her?
At the same home I'm at right now. I haven't moved or changed phone numbers.
Did you see Ms. Perez at any time between November of 2003 and May of 2004?
No, ma'am.
Did not see her?
No, ma'am.
That is not true.
That's not true.
No.
When did you see him?
I gave him 30 days to remove his items from the house. I was moving from San Diego to Los Angeles. He never took everything at one time and kept calling once a day to come pick something else up from the house.
So
That
you
went
saw
on through January 28th of 04. And I moved on February 26th of 04.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I can show here where I have papers where I sold my house in Oceanside and it closed escrow on January 12th. I have here canceled checks and loan documents were on January 22nd. I was in Kansas City, already purchased another home. I haven't been back here.
It's so fascinating to me because I'm gathering all kinds of information and you are taking positions, each of you, that is inconsistent with the position that you really want to take with regard to this lawsuit, just to fight with each other.
No, ma'am, I'm not. I didn't touch anybody's car and I didn't touch her, and that's my position.
Well, we're going to get there.
Sorry.
What you're doing is you're not helping yourself because you're not thinking it through. Let me get there for you, Mr. Delgado. According to your complaint, Ms. Perez, sometime in November of 2003, at about the time that you separated, Mr. Delgado damaged your car. And after he damaged your car, about a week later, you got into an altercation and he assaulted you. You're going to tell me about those two things.
Okay.
Because that's what this lawsuit is about. So let's get there, and let's get there, Ms. Perez, quickly.
The assault actually happened on October 3rd of 03. The last time I ever saw him again was November 18th of 03.
Well, between October 3rd of 03 and November 18th, did you live together?
No.
Did you stay together?
No.
Tell me what happened on October 3rd, 2003.
Okay. He used to work at a hotel chain and called me one day to bring 8 kids home. Their apartments were not ready yet. They were to be employed at the hotel he was working. I allowed him to bring these 8 kids home, and it turned into a fiasco for the next 2 weeks until the apartments were ready. I have evidence of what my house was like, what his behavior was like.
Could we get to the October 3rd, 2003?
Come to find out, he was fooling around with one of the kids staying at my house and would come home daily in a combative mood, and subsequently threw a cell phone at my car out of anger and took my car drunk pulled into the garage and ran over a hand dolly. I have pictures before he did that, after he did that.
Was that on October 3rd?
The last event was on October 3rd. That was prior to
Talking
October.
about the car.
The car was prior to October 3rd.
Date?
September 27th.
Between September 27th and October 3rd, did you live together?
He was keeping hours at the hotel. He would stay at the hotel.
Ms. Perez, between September
Not
27th...
as boyfriend and girlfriend, no.
Now, get to October 3rd, 2003.
My cleaning lady was at the house, and we were in the garage. And not to disrupt her cleaning, this is my cleaning lady, we went in the garage. We started having a heated argument over things that were happening with all the kids at the hotel, and it turned into a pushing, shoving, spitting match. He proceeded to spit in my face.
What did you do to him?
Pushed him off of me, and that's how my finger got broken.
Just a second. You said to me it turned into a pushing, fighting, spitting match.
Well,
match is your term. Now you've told me what you say he did to you. You tell me what you did to him.
Happened to be in the same room.
Well, you just told me that you just, shh. Ms. Perez, you just told me that you broke your finger pushing him
off of me.
Well, how was he on you?
I was on the couch. He was towering over me.
You were on the couch in a garage.
Right. We had a computer, a television, it was a hockey table. It was like a game room.
So you're on the couch in the garage.
I don't allow smoking inside my house. And that's
You're
why.
on the couch in the garage, and he's on top of you.
Right.
And you pushed him off you.
That's correct.
And you broke your finger.
That's correct.
What else?
My cleaning lady at the time was inside cleaning the house. I went inside, got my keys, purse, and had to go pick up my 8-year-old from school. I went and picked up my 8-year-old from school, took him with me to the emergency room. And because he was with me, I really didn't want him knowing what was going on. So I went to the doctor and told him it had occurred from fooling around. Now, the break was a circular break, and it broke
You have the emergency room records?
I absolutely do, and
good
pictures.
Well, can I ask you this question?
I have a diagram.
Shh. I don't want a diagram. I don't want pictures. I asked you for the emergency room records. And if you were going to the emergency room, and I assumed that you were just going to pick up your son so that he wouldn't be left out at school without someone caring for him.
That's correct.
Why didn't you take your housekeeper with you, who is here today, so that she could sit outside with your son if you were going to the emergency room?
She was leaving. She had another job to go to, and
Did you ask her to stay?
No, I did not. I was leaving.
It was an emergency. You were going to the emergency room.
That's correct.
Told the doctor you were fooling around, snapping kitchen towels.
That's correct, because my 8-year-old was with me, and I did not want to subject him to all the things going on. He had been around Joe since he was 2, and I really didn't want to crush or make him scared about any of the occurrences going on.
So what are you suing him now for? You don't think your son's going to know about this?
No, I've kept it from him.
Well,
he's in school.
10 million people watch this program, madam.
He's in school with after-school activities.
You got a lot of excuses.
He goes...
Mr. Delgado, you want to tell me what, if anything, you remember about October 3rd?
You know, all I know is that we have a dog named Daisy that was a shepherd mix. We always used to take a towel, and she would get one in, and you'd grab her, and she'd like this and play with her. I came home. She said she was wrestling with the dog. Daisy pulled on the towel, and she broke her finger.
Your Honor?
She drove...
I don't want to hear you. You see how quiet he was?
She drove herself to the doctor and came home with the medical report, said her finger was broken, and they were going to wait and see for a few weeks whether she needed to have any surgery or anything else done on it. At the time, we had the same medical insurance. We were in the same house, everything. That was the last I ever heard it until 2 years later. I get my 4th lawsuit from her about that.
Your Honor, I have a diagram drawn by the doctor, the surgeon, of what needs to be done to repair my finger. My cleaning lady was there at the house and can tell you what she heard from inside the house, and we were in the garage. She come on.
Tell me your name, please.
Yolanda Marcia.
How long have you worked for Miss Perez?
More than 8 years.
8 years. Why didn't you go with her to the emergency room, Miss Marcial?
Because I was working in the house. I was busy in the house and I just getting ready to leave.
What time of the day were you getting finished with your job?
Around like 2 something.
In the afternoon?
2 something.
And where were you going?
To Oceanside.
What's in Oceanside?
I was working for another lady in Oceanside.
What time do you do there?
Around like, I got traffic around like 4 over there to Oceanside.
How long did you remain in the house after Miss Perez left to go and pick up her son?
When she left to get, around like maybe like 45 minutes.
Did Miss Perez ask you to accompany her to the emergency room?
No.
Did you offer to accompany her to the emergency room?
No.
When she came inside, did she show you her hand?
She walked with the hand like that, and I know that something happened because I heard screaming in the garage and fighting in the garage.
When you heard screaming and fighting in the garage, did you go into the garage?
No. I'm only the cleaning person. I'm nothing.
You heard screaming and
Yes,
fighting
and
in the garage, and you didn't go in there? Did you call the police?
No.
You just went on vacuuming. Sit down, Miss Marcial. Put your hand down.
I have pictures.
Not interested in the pictures. More interested in the statement that you made to the doctor when you went in there.
I had my 8-year-old with me.
I don't believe that that's the reason you make up that kind of a lie.
I had to.
No, you don't. You have to say, would you go sit over there? And doctor, I want to tell you privately what happened. That's what you do. I mean, otherwise, the doctor believes what you're saying, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Because you give the doctor information, because based upon that information, it helps them treat whatever's wrong with you.
I came up with that story to protect my child.
No, that's a lot of baloney. That's baloney. I'm older than you are. I've been to the emergency room, both with myself and my children. Over the course of the years, little things happen. And you can always say, go over and sit there with that nice nurse for a second because the doctor wants to see me.
Your Honor, I tried to call 911 and he threw the phone and broke it.
Listen to me very carefully. You were out of the house. You went to pick up your child. You say to her, do me a favor, leave now and call the police. I'm leaving now. I'm going to the police. You did nothing. You did absolutely nothing except go to the emergency room on the 3rd for whatever reason and tell the doctor that you hurt yourself fooling around with a towel.
I was protecting my child.
You keep saying that, and I keep saying to you, I don't believe you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Get over it. Put a period. He doesn't want to have anything to do with you anymore. It was 5 years out of your life. Move on.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda Perez is accusing her ex-boyfriend, Joseph Delgado Jr., of damaging her car and breaking her finger.
Now, there's a lawsuit that she filed against you that she won a judgment for $1,000.
No, ma'am, she didn't win a judgment. She dropped the lawsuit. I paid the $1,000.
Tell me about that $1,000, sir.
After we'd split up, we hadn't talked for a while. I was behind on my taxes. Finally, I called Linda a couple times and talked to her, and we kind of were in an amicable position where I said, listen, I need to file my taxes. So she agreed that she would give me my tax paperwork and everything back.
Why did you leave without your tax paperwork?
I left just about everything I had there.
Why?
Because we're just not getting along, and that was enough.
When did you leave?
I don't remember the exact date, but I was out of there by the end of October.
So there came a time that you called her and said to her what?
That I wasn't coming back.
Taxes.
Oh, taxes. Well, I had asked for this before I left California, you know, and I was not.
Fine. So she said she'd give you your paperwork.
And finally, in about April of 2004, and then what she's telling the truth about the account, and we used her account, and I have the paperwork here, and I flew out here on May 15, 2004. We all three met. It was a respectable day. We didn't fight. Nothing happened. We didn't argue. She brought the paperwork. She said the accountant did the paperwork, and she did write the check for the $1,000, and I paid that back. And then I got back to Kansas City, where I live, and then on August 24th, I get from Blockbuster Video a bill from Canoga Park, 10 movies all rented in one day under my name. So I called out there and I said, listen.
Can I see that, please?
I said, I don't live in California, I haven't been in California.
Your Honor, all of our kids have the same Blockbuster card.
Well, yes, they do, and this is where it got real interesting, where Blockbuster knew who exactly rented them. Because our kids before, both of our older boys, would go down and rent movies, and we had late fees, Linda and I had went to Blockbuster, and we put a password on our account. So in order to rent movies, you had to know that password. When I called this Blockbuster and said, I don't owe this money, they said, yes, you're the primary person on the account, and the person that used that account used the password to get those movies. They rented all 10 of them one day and never brought one of them back.
That was in August of 2004.
And that's after all this. Sorry.
Okay. Tell me about the return of the $1,000, sir.
I took my credit card at Bank of America in Kansas City, and I went down and put that into her account.
So what was the lawsuit about?
I don't remember all the there was a couple of things in there she was suing me for, but that was part of it. Immediately after I got back, she filed the lawsuit. I should have paid it quicker, but, you know, I had told her. But we were in contact the whole time. She knew. And then I went down and paid it. Then I flew out here. Then the lawsuit got canceled after I'd flown all the way out here. Then I go back home. Then this happens. All, you know, it's like this card thing happened, this finger thing happened, but yet we're doing the taxes. We finally got the paperwork settled together. We meet at a restaurant to eat. You know what? You drop the lawsuit, I pay the money. She just said that. Then the Blockbuster thing happens out of no reason. 2 years later, I get 4 more lawsuits. Now I'm going to fly back out here again. And at the time, the finger in the car insurance, we had even the same car insurance until December 12th. We never had any claims. We never had any problems. The health insurance that she went to the doctor with was my health insurance.
Your Honor, he got fired from...
I'm speaking. When did you file the lawsuit with regard to the taxes?
September of 04.
When did you drop that lawsuit?
The end of September of 04.
When did you file this lawsuit?
October 27th, I believe.
All right. Ms. Perez, I'm not going to totally annihilate you. I'm just going to do it very, very quickly because, quite frankly, I have more important... I'm speaking! Your complaint says that the reason you didn't file this lawsuit sooner was because Joe went on the run and I was unable to locate him because he left the state. In September 2004, I was finally able to find him, and I immediately filed a small claims case against Joe for my car and assault damages. Once he was served, he contacted me, begged me to drop the case, and said he would start making payments. When I received his first payment of $1,000, I went and dismissed the case without prejudice. That is a lie. That's a lie. Because the case that you dismissed in September of 2004 had nothing to do with the car and the assault. I'm speaking. It had to do with the taxes, that he paid you the $1,000, so you dismissed that case. That's what you just told me.
It wasn't solely the taxes.
And you told me that you filed this case September 27th, 2005. Get over it. Put a period. He doesn't want to have anything to do with you anymore. It was 5 years out of your life. Move on. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a...
This case number 363 on the calendar in the matter of McDonald versus Wahab Raciniak. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. McDonald, it is your claim that the defendants filed false charges against you. I believe that the charges emanated from an instance of what we've come to call road rage that happened about a year ago.
That's correct.
The defendant said that you were acting erratically, that what they were trying to do was to secure your license plate number so that they could forward it to the police when this incident occurred. You didn't know each other prior to this incident, is that correct?
No. That's correct.
And you had a trial, Mr. McDonald?
Yes, I did.
And you were acquitted?
I was acquitted on all 3 charges in 37 minutes.
When was the incident?
October 24th, 2004 at 2 o'clock.
And what kind of car were you driving, sir?
I was driving a BMW Z3 convertible with the top down.
Do me a favor. Just let me ask the questions and try to give me just the answers that I need.
You bet.
Where were you going, Mr. McDonald?
I had seen an open house sign on a street called Edwards, and I was following an open house sign into a track that I had never been in.
Tell me what happened, Mr. McDonald.
Well, as I was going through the track, I realized that there was a car in front of me. It was driving in an erratic fashion. What I mean by that, it would slow down to about 5 miles an hour, speed up 6.
Listen to me. Don't interrupt him. You're going to have an opportunity to testify. Don't interrupt him. Sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
All of a sudden, I see her kind of go to the right. And I took that as her politely moving off to the right to let me go by.
How many lanes of traffic were there?
This street is a little unusual, and I have a picture over here that I took. If I may move over here to show you. Back here is where I'm seeing all the information going.
I just want to know how large the street was, Mr. McDonald. So that's the street that it was on, so there can be a parked car on either side and one lane of traffic.
Easily.
4 car lanes.
Correct.
Keep going.
The minute I went by her car, she lays into the horn, honk all the way around till I get in front. And I look in my rearview mirror, and simultaneously, I see both fingers go out the window on each side. So that kind of set the mood that was going on. And what I did is I gave a wave like this, my error. But I actually thought that was a polite movement on her in the very beginning. So as I go by, and I'm looking in my rear mirror, I see this go on. They make a left turn. I think, okay, that's the end of it. Instead, they flip the U-turn and now coming at me. They caught me at the stop sign, and his window's down. She pulls the car right up next to me to the left of my side, and there's nothing but screaming going on. So I looked at Miss Rosnick, and I said, "You're driving like an idiot." And then I turned right. They turned left. I thought that was the end of it. Nope. So I'm going down the street here, and as I go down the street, the road, as it shows, veers off to the left. As soon as I got around that corner, they're right back on my butt again. Now the problem is, I have them, having gone off to the left, time's taken, and I think they've got a weapon with them. They're staying between a half a car length and a car length behind my car.
How fast were you going, Mr. McDonald, at this point?
Probably about 25, 30 at the most.
Did you ever accelerate beyond 25 to
Yes,
30
I did.
miles? When?
When we came down the long street after they'd been tailgating me, I spotted people at the very end of the block. I mean, it's like the movie Duel, where I've got these people just bearing down. I mean, I don't know what they have in their possession.
What kind of car were they driving?
A white Malibu, I think is what it was. Like a
Okay.
mid-sized car. So they're behind me. I see people down at the end of the road. I accelerate and pull immediately in front of their house.
Uncross your hands.
At the exact moment that I'm pulling over and I get out of my car to yell to somebody to call the police, Miss Resnick takes her car and pulls in front in a wedge fashion.
Okay, so she parks and blocks you.
Correct. And all this whole thing that's going on is predicated on one idea that you said. They wanted to get my license plate. And I can show 15 different times that they could have. The truth meant, sure.
Life has a rhythm to it. There are certain things that are common sense, and there are certain things that are not. You don't have to fill in the blanks for me.
Okay.
If I need for you to fill in the blanks, Mr. McDonald, I'll ask you.
Okay.
Keep going.
So as soon as I get out of the car, she pulls the car over. He jumps out of the car and immediately starts coming toward me. Now at this point, I take a step toward him, and I say, in the best voice I can, "Get back in your car!"
Okay.
"Get back in your car!" And it worked. He turned around right there, but Miss Resnick didn't leave it there. She puts her car in reverse. Your Honor, I have the transcripts of the court proceeding. I have it on audio, and I would appreciate to be able to at least play a couple tracks to give you a flavor of what happened.
She put the car in reverse.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And as she put the car in reverse, Mr. Wahab goes back to the...
Mr. Wahab. Mr. Wahab,
Sorry.
You have problem controlling yourself,
No, I
sir?
don't, Your Honor.
You have problem controlling your temper, sir?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Well, it sounds to me as if you do, sir. You don't want to create that kind of impression, do you?
No, I don't.
You see, you've already done it. You only have one chance to make a first impression, Mr. Wahab.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've made a bad one so far.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Mr. Wahab gets out of the car, I tell him to go back. He gets back in the car.
You told me that already.
As Miss Rusnick's backing the car up, he jumps in the car, shuts the door, and you think it would end there. No. She keeps the car coming right back at me. I move out of the way, and just like she did at the stop sign, she stops this car door right here, the window's down, and I said, "Get out of here!" Now, let me back up a minute.
When you said get out of here,
Sure.
you made a slapping or punching motion.
Correct.
You hit the car.
Correct.
Did you hit it with your fist, with your hand? Did you
Open
kick it?
right hand.
Okay. Did you kick the car at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And then what happened?
So I hit it 3 times, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And as I'm saying that, I see Mr. Wahab either rearing back, like he's going to go back and kick me through the window, which I can't believe could be true.
Fine.
Or
You don't know. Don't speculate.
Okay, well, I see something coming at me. And as I lean back to deflect it, she has a car and drive, and they take off.
Okay.
But they don't. She flips the car around and returns. Stops again.
God.
Just on the other side of the road. He pops back out again. I say, "Get back in that car." He gets back in the car instantly. She takes off again. But that's not it. She goes forward again. She stops again. He pops out of the car, but this time, there's a guy that was standing on the other side. A lot of people were evidently watching this thing. He goes over to Mr. Wahab, puts his hand on his shoulder and said, "It's not worth it, it's not worth it." Now, here's what I know.
Don't tell me what you know.
This is what I was
Do you have-
thinking.
I don't care what you were thinking.
Okay? I left.
You left. Fine. Do you have a copy of the police report?
Yes, I do.
That Ms. Rusniak and Mr. Wahab filed?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it, please. Now, you were subsequently arrested, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
What were you charged with, sir?
I was charged with 242 battery of Mr. Wahab, disturbing the peace, challenging to fight against Mr. Wahab, and then vandalism, property, crime against Ms. Rusnick.
Who's going to speak for you? Both of you to start? Go ahead.
First, I would like to say that this man put my life in jeopardy. He really
No, you
did.
put your life in jeopardy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had a cell phone.
No, we did not have a cell phone, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I can prove that they have a cell phone.
I wasn't on the cell phone up until the point where I tried to call the police.
Oh, madam, are you telling me that you just lied to me?
As a result of false charges filed by Camille Rusiniak and Michael Wahab. The couple claims Tim was driving like a maniac.
You put your life in jeopardy. I'm going to tell you why you put your life in jeopardy. Because according to what I read in the police report, your statement, you felt as if this man was driving too fast in a residential street. So you decided to try to get his license plate.
That's not all it was.
That's the reason, because there had been no altercation up until that time.
Actually, there was.
Oh, you explain that to me.
Well, as you see the street here, I live on not this street that's cut off, but the one in front of the Suburban right there.
So?
That's my street. I was turning left onto that street.
So?
He almost caused me to have an accident. He went around me on the left-hand side as I was making my
He was
left-hand
driving, I said, he was driving erratically, and you said he put your life at risk. You put your life at risk.
I admit, I should have never followed him, and I will never do it again.
right.
I learned my lesson on that
That's
one.
right.
But he did physically assault me,
Listen to me
and my boyfriend.
Listen to me very carefully. You got hot, and you did a very dumb thing. You followed him, and you followed him, and you chased him several times.
I never...
Yes, you did. You followed him in order to, according to you, get his license plate number. But these are your statements, not mine. You told the police that she was so offended by this vehicle's unsafe driving that they made a U-turn and then made a U-turn back to attempt to get his license plate number of the vehicle to report it to the police. They said they pulled up alongside the vehicle at a stop sign. Well, what'd you do that for? If you wanted to get his license plate number, get his license plate number and call the police, but that's not what you did. and asked him why he was driving so recklessly. So let me figure this out. You were very offended by the way he was driving. You made 2 U-turns in order to catch up with him. That's what you told the police, unless you say the police are lying. And you didn't get his license plate, but you pulled up to him and, according to you, said to him in a calm way, "Why are you driving so recklessly?" Do you know how ridiculous that sounds?
No.
Do you know how ridiculous? I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying to you that somewhere between what you're going to tell me and what he told me is the truth. That's probably why the jury acquitted him. Now, who are you? You are 2 people. He's 1 person in a car. He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know whether you have good intentions, bad intentions. He has no clue. All he knows is, according to you, you have turned around and followed him on at least 3 occasions. And at that point, you are 2 nuts following him, and he doesn't know what you have in mind. So now what you're complaining about is that he dented your car. I would have hit your car. I would have taken a brick and thrown it through the windshield if 2 people were following me over a dissing incident.
That's not what it was about in the least.
Well, that's what it was about, madam. If you didn't get the license plate number calmly and call the police, you had a cell phone.
No, I
No,
didn't.
we did not have a cell phone, Your Honor.
Oh, and you had no pen?
No.
No,
we
I did have a pen, but we were unable to get his license plate number.
he was driving too
and my
fast.
first intention was not to get his license
He
plate
had
number.
pulled over and stopped.
Your Honor, I can prove that they have a cell phone. I can prove it without a doubt.
How can you prove that?
I wasn't on the cell phone up until the point where I tried to call the police, sir.
Oh, madam, are you telling me that you just lied to me when you said you
I
didn't?
just-
I'm speaking. Are you telling me that you just lied to me when you said I didn't have a cell phone?
We don't have a cell phone on us.
Where was the cell phone?
At my house.
The house.
Just a second. You say you can show me that she had a cell phone in the car?
What they forgot was that they had called 911 from the cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Let me see.
No, I did call.
Mr. Wahab, let me explain to you twice now what you did, sir. You showed me that you cannot control your temper.
I
2
can
times.
control my temper, Your Honor.
2 times in a courtroom. So if you can't control yourself in a courtroom, what are you doing out in the street when somebody drives by and flips off your girlfriend? Ooh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.